John?
Second minute, sorry.
Oh, right. Votes in favour then, please.
Sorry, can I just clarify, are we voting just to stick with what we've got, or to
It's as the...
we've got the new one, what were those bits?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify what...
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's as the clerk's presented it, and it's to take on the new bits as well.
Yes, we've moved from a scheme to a policy, so we still keep that.
Okay.
And
No, that's fine, yeah. But without the bits that cross out.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Votes in favour then, please. Unanimous. Thank you very much. No problem. 15.4, to receive a draft CCTV policy for review, to adopt and consider recommendation to council.
Basically, try to find more in depth that we use now.
Yeah.
Can I propose that we, I suppose, reinstate the previous, more in-depth policy?
Yeah. That's proposed. Seconder? Tom? Yeah. Seconder. Votes in favour then, please. Votes in that. Unanimous.
Thank you.
15.5, to note an increase in charge to the appointed grounds maintenance contract with Wakefield District Council due to an administrative error.
Can we vote for
Can I just have it errors on their part, not
yeah,
yours?
that's what I mean. Can we buy them a calculator so we get it right next time?
I believe, didn't we flag this as well at the meeting as it's really that?
I don't know.
I remember something,
GP, wasn't it?
Yes.
I remember something at F&GP where this was flagged.
So the first draft that I got was an error, the second draft then came to the meeting and itemised it and added to the total. And now they come back again because the price of carriage wasn't correct.
No,
I
you
think I've
don't.
put in the notes the difference in the price.
Proposing?
Those who know it.
No, sir. Approve
This
it?
one, oh yes, it was tonight, yeah, because obviously the services already started, so.
Yeah. Okay. Second, that nothing, Sean, second. Votes in favour of just noting that, just so we're on. Yeah. So that's everything from F&GP that we've got for council. So item 16, to receive an update on the appointed hanging basket supplier and decide the course of action. So essentially the supplier is a known, and the new supplier
Decided to tell us last week.
decided to tell us last minute that we can't do it.
Can I just, can I make a proposal though that we ask village communities to look at alternative options to hanging baskets, either for in the year or for I know it's very unlikely. A miracle might happen, so we get something in the as an alternative, or for next year, as an alternative to hanging baskets, and that will bring us some recommendations back. That would be better. You get that?
So that's to refer it to amenities to.
Well, we just received the update, but just to ask, we instruct communities to do a bit of research on, look for alternatives, either for in year or for next year, and to bring some recommendations back. That's the
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Can I just check, does this mean that realistically we won't have any hanging baskets this year in the village?
The rate stands as of today, yes. I have reached out to one more supplier, but I've not had anything.
Just to clarify, we're not the only parish council in this situation, because our previous supply did supply a lot of parish councils in town. I know that doesn't make it any better because we're going to get a hit on social media regardless. But you know, essentially, the supply we used to use and we've used for years no longer is there. The new supplier has let us down last minute. We've done our job.
We're the opposite of on our own, aren't we, after the Christmas tree?
Yeah.
We have to go. Have we tried, is it Newton Nurseries, just down the road? Yeah.
We've gone locally. The challenge that we're having is that we can find suppliers, we can't find a way to water them.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you buy them, you've got to water them. So that's the biggest challenge. We thought that we had found someone, and between the clerks in the area, like Martin said, there are a few of us that have been impacted. The main challenge is that we only found out earlier this year that the supplier was no longer supplying, which was very late in the year to obviously be able to do anything. We thought we had a supplier, but they let us down last week. So we would need to put something out on social media and the website as a statement.
I was going to say a statement's probably going to be needed as well to try and...
Yeah, I think part of the basket, you know, I mean, is it, even if it's a case of planters on our own, like outside the centres, or, you know, have something to say we've done this for this year, this is the reason why. Anyway, obviously, I mean, it's look at that, but...
Yeah. Andy?
Is it possible, because I know I met somebody who was detailed up past the Gemma, just by chance in conversation, we did it before I knew this, so I passed the details on, and I presume that's who you're still waiting to hear about.
That's right, I contacted them on Friday and I've not had anything back yet.
Would it be possible, if they can do it, that we could approve by email to news people, if they can do it and get it done quick, because otherwise we'll miss the season anyway.
That is the first one, Chair. So if that supplier came back and said they could do it, we haven't got a council meeting until June.
Yeah.
So it would have to be either delegated authority or an extraordinary.
Could we do delegated authority?
Yeah, well,
you know,
something to if we can do, we can do it quick.
Yeah.
To me, Chair, to make
Yeah.
the decision.
So delegate to the clerk. And then obviously a confirmation could be sent out to us all. Sarah,
If we're delegating authority, which I'm supposed to doing that, I will put in the budget top limits on that delegated authority.
Already, I suppose,
Or does it have to be within
the budget? I would be authorised
Yeah.
by the budget.
Yeah.
What I could do, Chair, with the delegated authority, just to be clear, is Nathan just mentioned about the buildings. So Bow Lane building and the cemetery, we can reach them as staff to water them, so we could put some hanging baskets on the buildings from a different supplier.
So I think it would be a case of depending on what's said and what can be done, then would you be happy with?
I'm happy to do that, and of course I will email it round to everyone, but ultimately the power has to be noted as delegated authority within the budget.
So I'll take that as a proposal from Andy then.
With Sarah to the budget.
And to delegate to the clerk. So those in favour of that then, please. Unanimous. Thank you very much. We will have hanging Okay, item 17. To receive a new activity risk assessment in line with the Parish Council's financial regulations relating to a prospective legal sublease between Ackworth Parish Council and Low Ackworth Community Association regarding town and Low Ackworth playing field and consider for approval. So we've got the risk assessment.
Understanding order 10A, Part 3, I move that the Council resolves to defer consideration of this motion and the approval of this risk assessment for the following reasons. Lack of financial evidence, non-compliance with Financial Regulation 5.1, which mandates that members and officers are responsible for obtaining value for money at all times. We have seen no bank statements, receipts or financial business records. We cannot verify tenant viability or funds in place for demolition based on words alone. The sublease policy, the claim that we must award a sublease to shift demolition responsibility is legally incorrect. A sublease is not required to apply for planning permission, nor is it required to carry out demolition. The association only needs a simple letter of landowner consent and a Section 80 notice. They do not need a 40-year lease to remove a live safety hazard. Legally premature. Wakefield Council's ERA response confirms that the head lease is not executed and mandatory Section 1232A, public consultation, has not occurred. No cabinet discussion. ERA evidence confirms no officer report exists, and the matter has not been discussed in cabinet. As a council, we have a statutory duty to protect taxpayers' money. Until we see the bank statements, a financial business plan, and proof that demolition applications have been submitted, this risk assessment should not be approved. I request to record a vote on this motion under Standing Order 3R.
Chair, could we just take a minute to go through this?
Yeah, of course.
So, 10 minutes through.
Sorry, just bear with us a moment, just while we're...
10.3 is to defer. Okay, so reasons. Non-compliance with financial regulation 5.1. Okay, so a risk assessment, Chair, under 5.1 is not about value for money, that's about any officer procuring goods, services or works should ensure that would be relevant, Chair, to agenda item 19, which is about the quote. But this is a risk assessment that we're looking at the risk, not in relation to 5.1. So, Chair, my counsel to you is that that one's not valid under 5.1.
Fine.
Okay, Chair, can I just read what I've written in here, just because there is speech, if that's okay, under that. Sublease, so, a claim that we must award a sublease to shift demolition, so I'm just going to see where I claimed that, Chair, before we discuss it. So I would imagine it's under damage to asset existing buildings, so if I just have a look what was written, because this is a risk assessment to us. And obviously this has been presented to council as a version that I put together as the responsible officer, but council can comment and add things into our risk assessment for review, because that's what it says at the bottom. It says the officer recommendation is to approve the risk assessment agreeing to the production, or it's to approve in principle subject to conditions, or it's to defer the decision. So obviously I gave options, Chair, not this is set in stone. So let's just have a look at that. So I've said the demolition and removal. Okay, so it's the council's decision, obviously, to either agree to this or not with those three that I've put in place. But it is my assessment that actually when we're doing a risk assessment, if there is a sublease in place, it does mitigate responsibility, because our parish council, if a sublease was approved, it wouldn't then be our responsibility ultimately. If there's a sublease in place, it would be the tenant's responsibility as written into a sublease. So I don't believe that to be applicable here, Chair. Sublease is not required. I haven't said it's not required. I've done a risk assessment on it. Legally premature. Okay, Chair, I think I make it very clear that I wouldn't be looking to move ahead. This is a risk assessment only under this agenda item, and I think I made it really clear under agenda item 19 that I wouldn't be progressing until the head lease has come back, because obviously we need that before we can proceed. As you know, Chair, things take time in a lot of parish council, so if that head lease was to drop tomorrow, I've got an instruction in place. If it doesn't drop for another 2 months, I can't action it anyway, Chair. I'm not actually aware of cabinet discussion. If that's a Wakefield Council point of view, well, they've not confirmed back to us yet by giving us a final copy. All I know is it's with them. I haven't obviously had information about cabinet discussion, I just know it's still within their process. So if that's what that's referring to, then that would be correct because it's still within their process. But I've not come across that wording yet. And then the last one, Chair. It says here, until we see bank statements, a financial business plan and proof that demolition applications have been submitted, that a risk assessment should not be approved, I can't find any statutory law in our sector that states that they have to be included in a risk assessment. So I'd like to understand why Councillor Parker knows more information on this and the source of that information that says that those elements must be included in a risk assessment, because everything that I've seen and reviewed doesn't state that those things have to be in a risk assessment. The things that are stated by our statutory law have been included, Chair. A recorded vote is up to you. Obviously that's not a procedural motion, a recorded vote, that is a request from the councillor to have a recorded vote. Is there any further council that you need, Chair?
No, I'm happy with that. So from that, the only one I'm going to take is a recorded vote. That's the advice I'm taking. That's okay. So we'll continue with the item. Any comments, please? I'll start with John, if that's okay.
It's just a syntax one. On the bottom of the first page, next to the medium, the yellow medium, responsibility of the tenant, but ultimately, is it fall to the parish council? It says full. And again, it says it again somewhere else. I'm not being pedantic.
No, thank you.
This is like a legal, semi-legal document, I think meant to be.
Yes, it's on the top of the next page.
Top of the next page,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a listed building at the end.
Sorry, I'm just being married to an English teacher. How can you work?
Chair and Council, this is what this is about. You know, it's the first time I've done one of these, so any feedback like this or anything else that you feel is a risk that needs including, it's important that a discussion takes place. This has to be a robust document for our parish council to assess a risk.
Yeah.
Okay. Andy, yeah.
Well, let's start by saying, I do want a building. I've heard people saying that apparently I don't. I do want a building in Ackworth. I think last week highlighted we can have drastic changes in the council, so we've got to make sure everything is absolutely watertight, so we've got a guaranteed 40-year lease. So having said that, I think with ongoing governance, I think we need to increase that, because the constitution that nearly 13 years after writing is now available by the Charities Commission. It seems to take the Lower Ackworth Community Association 12.5 years to submit it to them. It does say, in terms of trustees, the title and all and any real property which may be acquired by the association for the purposes of pursuing its objects should be vested in trustees who shall be nominated Ackworth Parish councillors and appointed by the committee. And it then goes on to say, the number of trustees shall not be less than 2 and no more than 4, with trustees maintaining their role until replaced by a parish council. So, looking at that, it's quite clear that constitution isn't actually being followed. And I think that the fact that we are considering things for a community association that aren't following their own constitution does highlight a potential risk.
So in what's being considered, approves in principle as above subject to conditions. So
yeah, well, I think the risk we're showing there for governance is incorrect, because anyone following their own constitution.
So it's subject to conditions, and I'm pretty sure that Ackworth can, sort that out if it's incorrect.
If we're proving in principle subject to conditions, in that condition we're putting on now,
that the constitution should be followed, I would have thought.
is the condition that we're putting on now would be to upgrade that to hard.
To make sure everything's updated, I see that, and I'm pretty sure there will be.
Is that the word you mean?
So, Chair, it could be that we review something and we state it as a risk based on that, or it could be a condition that one of these is that we request the proposed tenant update the constitution or remind them to follow
Right.
the constitution. It could be down to an error, but it could still be that we approve the risk assessment with an amend or with a condition.
So I think that sort of addresses that point. So fair, fair point. Any other comments on that then? Okay, well I'm going to propose that.
Could we pause just before you
Yeah.
move? Could I just see that? Because obviously I've got to minute it fully and I'm not sure what you were referring to, and I just want to be able to have a copy if that's okay, so I can minute it what the condition is. Is that okay, Chair?
Of course.
So could I just check
Yeah,
with
it's the
you
bottom
which
of
one?
that page.
Is it
and
this
then
green one
It's
here?
the green and then a bit on the next page as well.
So if I could just take a very quick photo of
course.
this, Chair, and then
Of
I can
course.
minute
Yeah, yeah,
it, because
of
this is
course.
obviously very important. And this is the constitution that's widely available.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a publicly available document.
So, thank you very much.
Okay. We're all good. So I'm going to propose that we receive this and approve in principle as above, subject to conditions. So it would be, if something's out of date, a reminder sent to law Ackworth People's Association to get it up to date. If that's necessary, I'm pretty sure that will be done. That won't be a problem. So that would be one of our conditions. So I'm proposing that, and that we accept this risk assessment and put that in.
I'll second it.
Sarah seconding. I also said that we'd have a recorded vote on this, as that was one of the...
Sorry, just let me ask. So we're voting that we approve them in principle, subject to writing to the Community Centre Association.
So it would be added into the